Welcome back to Detect Dead Outdoors, everybody. Thanks for joining me on this new adventure here. Same location you guys have seen me at the last couple of times. Today I have decided, instead of hiking all the way up the mountain, I took a little bit of a detour in hopes of cutting off the general area that I have been searching. Well, the hike up this way hasn't been easy. A little bit more difficult than I anticipated, but what I am trying to do is get to the edge of all the stonework that you guys have seen in the recent videos, and I want to start working my way towards where I've been finding all of the relics. Now, if you guys haven't seen my last two episodes, I highly suggest you go back because I'm getting into a lot of good stuff, including British items, which I wasn't really thinking I'd be finding up here, but just like anywhere in New England, you really don't know what you're going to come across when you get up into the woods and get up to the old home sites, and you get your metal detector out. There's no telling what you're going to find. So as I'm snapping branches and keeping my head on a swivel here, it is springtime in New England. I don't want to run into any black bear that are hungry. They've been hibernating all winter. So I'm going to keep trudging through the woods here, and when I get to that location where those stones start stacking up, I'm going to get the metal detector out, and let's see what kind of relics we can jump on right off the bat. We'll see you there. So I really enjoy it when the plan works out perfectly. I have absolutely made it to where the stones start here, and just like I was hoping, the stones go all the way down to the edge. There's a huge ridge line down that way that I know of from being way up that way hunting during deer season, but I wasn't anticipating that this would start so soon, so this gives me way more land than I thought that I was going to have up on this part of the mountain. These rocks have been here for quite some time, and just like I was getting into down the other way, there's definitely got to be some history lurking in the ground. I'm really not sure where I'm going to start. It does slope right here on this end, back down towards the main trail, which I think I'm going to stay away from that. And what I'd like to do is right up on that side, it's pretty flat all the way to that ridge line, so I think that's where I'm going to be starting today. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get into because I don't know what these stone walls were actually used for, whether it was to keep livestock in, simply mark property boundaries, or perhaps they were growing things out here at one point. I'm going to get the metal detector up and going, and I'll see you guys at the first target out here. So I've literally just hopped over the stone wall, and I was going to go down to the other side there, but like I said, it just drops, and right in here it's just absolutely perfectly flat. Finding deer fur everywhere, so something has been hungry. I don't think that's just from deer pulling them off themselves, so I'm wondering if there's a good old black bear up here on the prowl, but by the looks of it, it has a full belly from everything that I found already so far today. But just coming through here, and where'd it go? I want to move my shovel here because it might be, I did have a good tone. Right there. Now it's a little bouncy and it could very well be junk. I'm thinking perhaps it's a rifle casing, because they do tend to bounce like that in the higher numbers, but man, with everything else that I've been finding up here, let's hope that this is good. And let's go in here together. Again, I don't know what this side will produce, if anything. But I definitely do want to keep my eyes out because I've been hearing a lot of ruckus out in the woods, and I hope that whatever's out there stays away. Not a first bad tone for my first tone. Oh! Well, let me see what this is first. Yeah, that's just a rock, but not a bad Not a bad first tone. You guys have seen these before. I believe it was in my first video there, the old oxen knobs. So if you're not sure what these are, just head on back to that video, check it out. I do put a description in there, but they're for oxen. They go on their horns and prevent any injury. So definitely a good first target for this area here. It's been worked clearly, so I'm gonna keep at it, see what else we can turn up. I'm digging all of the tones I come across that repeat. So this is why I'm getting into some of these smaller rusty items, but look at the size of that baby oxen shoe. That was just a little fella. That will be one that I take home. I don't think I have too many this small, so I will be preserving that. Soak it in vinegar, get that rust off after a few days, scrub it down, seal it, and it'll be a nice little relic to show and tell with. So for one reason or another, I get people that are, well, I won't say constantly, but they argue with me. They're like, there's no way that you don't know where you're going. Meaning that I'm coming up in the woods and I'm finding these old spots just by following stonework and whatnot. This is just going to give you some indication that I am telling the truth when I'm coming up here on the mountain. This is the ridge line that I was talking about that extends all the way up to where I've spoken about it before in previous videos. Quite a valley that comes down through here, and it's quite a drop. This stone wall, as I was hoping to run into coming this way, which I did, it actually continues on down through here, and then there's several other stone walls along the way. There's another, it looks like an old road right there, perhaps an old trail, and I think that's exactly what this is. I think some of those roads that I've seen way up on top of the mountain here, they all come down this way and they all join. Very slow start, a couple oxen pieces, but I'm gonna get right back at it and see what we can do. So I'm not gonna lie, it has been absolutely treacherous coming through some of these woods. A lot of blowdowns, trying to squeeze in between the trees, stepping over them, you know, getting stuck through where a lot of them are cross-sectioned. And I finally made it back to the stone wall where I wanted to meet up with. It was a lot of land over on the other side, and I really wasn't finding a whole lot. I may revisit it at some point, but for today I really just wanted to get into some relics. I think it's a button. I'm not exactly sure. I know it's round. I haven't wiped off the backside yet. A very deep and scratchy tone. And this right here just goes to show you that you need to dig everything. Don't know what it is yet, but let's go in together. So it was literally bouncing from 11 to 20 to 15 to 9, but it repeated. I mean, the tone in my ears were repeating. And I was digging down. I was breaking through roots, digging stuff up, finally got down to where it was. And I just popped that roundness out. I don't know if it's a button, but ooh, it looks shiny too. I'm assuming that's a tomback. That could very well be a coin though. Please be a coin. No, that's a button. That's an old button though. Actually, you can see it spun. I believe that's tomback. Another old button up here. Obviously there were people all around this land. There you go, look at that shininess. That's going to clean up beautifully. That'll go in the relic box and on its way out of here with me. Well, I guess I've been quite spoiled up here. Today really isn't producing a whole lot, as you guys have seen, but you know, I'm trying to keep it authentic. I'm trying to show you somewhat everything I find. You guys don't want to see all the nails and all the pull tabs and things like that throughout my videos, so I do show them periodically just to show, you know, there are things in the ground, but not the good things that, you know, we're looking for. So today, actually, it's quite cold out. The last couple of days it's been near 70 degrees, and today is, honestly, it feels like it's going to snow up here. Overcast, the wind's blowing, and it's quite chilly, so I do want to spend as much time as I can up here, probably, hopefully, big old woodpecker in the background, hopefully until dark. Try to squeeze out a few more relics for you guys. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, so If you're still with me at this point in the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I can't always promise the good stuff up here when I'm out digging in New England, but as you guys have seen, you know, days can turn around very fast. I'll get a drink of water here, look around, and let's see what else the rest of the day will have in store for us. For those of you getting into the hobby of metal detecting, I caution you, please have patience, because you're going to have days where it's really quiet, really slow. And we all dream of those days where we're just pulling up relic after relic after relic. It does happen, but not often. When it doesn't happen, slow down. Change your settings, turn up your sensitivity, find those iron patches, and go very slow, because that's exactly what I'm doing. I found a huge patch of iron, and I've been pulling up nothing but junk. That was reading a solid 10 on the Equinox after I tuned it up a little bit. And it is absolutely surrounded by roots, nails, and who knows what else. But I've isolated that one tone, dug it out of the ground, and I just saved a tiny little, perhaps it's a cuff button, maybe a shirt. The shank is broken. But that right there just goes to show you, slow down, take your time, change it up a little bit, and you'll find what you're looking for. Well, I suppose some of you will find this interesting. An old can for oil. I think I have it upside down there. I have absolutely no idea about these old cans. But it does look like there's still a label on there. Some of you are probably shouting at the screen right now, telling me what it is. Can't really tell. Tyson, maybe? I don't know. I'm sure I'll put an ID on the video for you guys, but how cool is that? I am going to throw that in my backpack. I've always wanted to try to restore some of these old cans, and this will be a perfect one to try it on. I'm squeezing them out of the ground for you guys, that's for sure. Another old button. This one has a shank on it though. Just a generic, looks generic flap. Yeah, got that nice thick shank on there. Oh no, there is some gold gilding on there, huh? I do see that, a little bit of the gold. I think that's gold. I could be wrong. It could just be the way my eyes are playing tricks on me right now from the soil, but I'm getting into stuff. People have been around here a long time ago. I'll keep at it. Still got some daylight left. Let's see what else we can find. Well, the last few items, a lot of junk, square nails. I found another lead piece of shot of some sort, but the cool thing is, I think it's still helping me put together a story. And you see how charred that is? That whole nail, it almost looks like it went through a fire. And then not far from it, I found a piece of lead that looked like it had been melted as well. Now, I'm not sure what exactly went on up here, but I want to give you a little bit of my imagination based on the things that I have been finding up here. So I'm thinking mid to late 1700s, there was a nice little community up here. They were probably, as local legend says, coexisting with the natives and getting along quite well up here. There's a lot of stonework. Clearly the things have been farmed up here. A lot of the land has been farmed and cleared. Oxen shoes, a lot of nails, things like that, and a lot of flat ground. Another indication of that is the stone wall placement. A lot of flat spots. I got into some areas where there were no roots, no dirt, or no rocks, things like that, so it's very easy digging, and that's quite typical of farmland up here in New England. So come about the late 1700s, I'm thinking that, like I said, it was hustling and bustling up here. They were doing a lot, surviving, nice little community. Somewhere along the line, the British came through. Now, I don't know if they were on their way through towards Ticonderoga. I don't know if they were on their way over to Bennington. I don't know really what they were doing, but in my mind, they came through here at one point and ran into this little community. Just like anything back then and today, I'm sure the people that were on this land fought for it. They built it. They grew plants. They had animals. You know, they had a lot invested in this place. Probably had kids, and I'm sure they fought. They fought back. And whatever the British were here for, perhaps they were here taking livestock, collecting their taxes, whatever it might have been. We're finding, you know, those little bullets, little pistol shots along the way. A lot of old buttons. I think those pewter buttons are civilian buttons, and to me it almost seems like there was quite a skirmish up here. Now behind me, you guys probably recognize, that's a familiar spot to me. That's where I found the British copper. Not too far in front of that I found the other British copper, but I also found the British sword buckle. So, you know, I don't know exactly what went on up here. There's nothing in the history books. There's nothing anybody is telling me other than, you know, stories they've heard along the way. But I'm starting to think it was a nice little farming community. You know, they were getting along very well. Something along the way had to happen, and in my mind, based on what I found up here, I think those are the blocks of the story that I'm going to put together for what I think happened up here long ago. Now, some of you might not be agreeing with me, and that's quite all right. You know, that's the best part about this hobby. When you come up into places like this and you start finding old relics and whatnot along the way, you can't help but to imagine what actually happened back then. Why did these things get lost along the way? How did they get lost along the way? I mean, finding a piece of something off of a British soldier, you know, why? How did that fall off? Was it just a fluke, or, you know, was there a fight that happened in the middle of the battle? You know, it fell off, dropped some coins along the way, and who knows? But that's where my mind goes, and like I said, you don't have to agree with that, but I've been out long enough to find, you know, different things. I've been all over this mountain, and essentially that's right where my mind goes, is exactly what I just told you. So I've officially made it back to square one, and I'm gonna head up over that ridge there and down towards my vehicle. I am not gonna swing through there because it's quite treacherous with all the blowdowns and branches in the way, and I want to make sure that I get down there safely. But I do want to thank everybody that's made it to this point in the video. I know it's been slow today, but again, just trying to keep it authentic and letting you know that, you know, you're not always going to find the goods when you come out here metal detecting. There's a lot of land. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but the adventure is always the best part anyway, and trying to figure out what happened on a piece of land so many years ago. With all those little finds along the way, telling a story, your mind can just wander, and that's the best part, I think, of metal detecting. I'll see you on the next adventure. I'm not sure when I'll be back up here. Quite cool of a day. Not a lot of black flies out yet. I do know with the heat coming in next week, the black flies are going to hatch, and being out in the woods is just going to be next to impossible. So I may be back up here at some point, but probably going to give it a little bit of a break. I do have a couple other spots that I want to get out to soon, so you'll probably see me somewhere else the next time, but I hope you've enjoyed the last few episodes up here on the mountain. I know that I have, and I know there's more relics to be found. So as the owls start to come out, telling me it's time to get out of here, I'm going to start making my way back down to the vehicle and call it a day. But again, thank you guys very much for all your support, both on social media, the shirt store, which I'll put a link in the description for you guys. I do have giveaways going on. I have more giveaways I want to do on Facebook and possibly other social media sites as well, so be on the lookout for them. But until I see you guys next time, happy hunting.